What would you tell people that feel like they have to work for free, or maybe they just have that question of should I do some work for free and then start charging, or should I just be focusing on offering a service like Fletch says, like service rendered, service paid?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that you can get started in this. I will tell you that in OMG, well, let me ask you this first. Are you familiar with the phrase "foot in the door"?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Somewhat.
Okay, and so "foot in the door" is a phrase that I think Dale Carnegie came up with in his one of his trainings from like 1920 something. And what that refers to is a sales technique where you will offer someone, a potential client, something that's very, very inexpensive or even free possibly to get your foot in the door, as it's called. So once you have a relationship with them, you can then sell them something that's a more appropriate value, right? Well, I'll tell you that in OMG, we teach you, I'm just going to throw out a number, I'm sure it's higher, at least a dozen ways to do that. We teach you, it's probably double or triple that, but off the top of my head, I'm just going to, I'm going to stick with 12 as a number. A dozen different ways that you can approach different types of business owners with things that are very little cost, which will then enable you to get your foot in the door once you have a relationship, and then you'll be able to charge for your services. So as a journeyman, a lot of times, my program I mentioned, I do intern hours, as a therapist that I don't get paid for. It's part of my program. So I am, in effect, working for free, while I'm in my program. And I think that there's definitely a time and a place for that. But I'll tell you this. There was a quote, and I can't remember the guy's name. I never can. Who is the billionaire that owns Virgin Airlines?
Richard Branson.
Thank you. Richard
Branson.
You
beat me.
Thank you, Fletch. So Richard Branson. He has a very famous quote where he says, if you're offered a fantastic opportunity and you don't know how to do it, say yes and figure out how to do it. I'm paraphrasing. He said it much more eloquently, I'm sure. But here's the thing that I can tell you. If you are in OMG, you can rank clients. Okay, that's just it. It's just a fact. It's not a variable. You're going to have that skill. And so, I think that what happens with a lot of our members, even our very newest members, is they have a lot of confidence walking in because even though they may not have ranked a website yet, they trust that the people who are teaching them and all of their fellow members with, again, thousands of stories of people who have done this, it gives them the confidence to go in there. A lot of times we will start off for smaller fees. But personally, if someone asked me just straight up, would you do, some free work? The only time I would say yes for that would be probably for like maybe a family member or a close friend to like as a portfolio item. If you want to help a family member or a close friend, get some web traffic and build their online presence, and also at the same time it helps you build your business, I think I'm good with that. I don't think I'd ever be, a big fan of you doing that for, a complete stranger, putting in, a whole lot of time and energy, toward that. And again, if I didn't know for sure that we could get the result, I'd have a different answer. But I know that it's 100%. There's no question that once you're in, you're going to be able to provide the services that you're selling. There's no question you're going to be able to do that. The only variables really are time and money. We can get any client, really what they're looking for as long as, there's enough of an investment in time and money for it. So, I would say, though, at the end, kind of a closing, what Fletch mentioned about being an outsourcer on places like Upwork and Elance and things, it's genius because, what will happen is, you may take some of this work that appears like smaller. I actually am an employee or employer on some of these services. I spend a lot of money on outsourcers. And what people would be surprised to find is, they may go on and they may find a $200, like a project, right, on Upwork, and turns out they do a good job, and that turns into, lots of money, like the kind of money we're talking about. This was just a one-off project for the company, but you show them, that you can get the results that they want to get. and you had the confidence, and so you parlay that smaller job into a much bigger job, and that's happened a lot actually. That's not an uncommon story.
Yeah.